Hi, welcome back to my channel. I feel like this is a bit of a video for, I don't usually like to specify, I think this is any type of relationship, but especially empaths in relationships, and I've got a video in front of me that has given me some ideas, and it's just one of those things that, again, yeah, you don't have to be an empath for this to work for you, but I feel like this is especially targeted at empaths, so I'm just going to go with that. Of course, everyone likes different things in a relationship, but this is 9 things that empaths, I don't like cumulative things. Let's skip the 9. I don't know why. I feel like numbers, whether I'm a bit dyslexic or something, numbers just confuse my process. So this is a few things that empaths need in a relationship. Honesty. If you're someone that's been in relationships with people that are narcissistic, or people that have mistreated you, cheated on you, you know, I'm not saying that people that aren't empaths don't need honesty. Again, this just goes for anyone, but honesty is so important. I definitely think there's a difference between oversharing and sort of dumping on someone, and then, you know, having good communication and being open and honest about issues you have, and finding someone that's able to actually handle that at the time, and maybe not sort of expecting, for example, someone with narcissistic tendencies to be able to empathise with your, you know, a lack of needs being met over something that they're doing wrong, or, you know, sympathise with something that they're doing wrong. Just honesty in general about, obviously, the basics like cheating and stuff, but then aside from that, also like just anything that needs to be honest about. So without rambling, let's move to the next one. Apparently a similar rate of growth and being able to move through life at a sort of consistent rate with each other. Not to say apparently that it doesn't have to be the exact same rate, but kind of moving at a gradual pace that's kind of not mirroring, but in line with one another, that one isn't like growing like this and one person's like this, and you eventually will then outgrow each other by default. And something that was put at the end of this video that I was watching, which I'm going to push forward a bit. Oh, it's so cold today, but I don't really think I need a blanket or anything. I don't know. I might get one if I need one. I'm not that cold, but I'm just a bit like, I think I'm a bit tense. I don't want it to come across that way. So equality is actually really important in terms of, I definitely think in terms of like dominance as well, and submissiveness. Like if one person is dominant or one person is submissive, or different parts, I heard from a biblical standpoint, says don't be unequally yoked, in terms of, think about someone as a glass of water. You need to be able to contain their glass of water, and they need to be able to contain your glass of water completely. There shouldn't be extra room, but there shouldn't be, you know, there shouldn't be not enough room either. So that's the idea of being unequally yoked or equally yoked. But also from a sense of submissiveness and dominance, even when it comes to different aspects of your personality. Like I've had it in relationships where one aspect of I was dominant in some way and another aspect was potentially somewhat submissive in some other way, or in great aspects sometimes, where then it becomes toxic sometimes when someone's really submissive in some areas and really dominant in some areas. But I don't think that's not necessarily what makes a toxic relationship. It can be a factor, I suppose. Usually that comes mainly from a manipulative person and someone else not standing up for themselves properly and then getting resentful, and then the cycle continues, but the toxic person's usually the main issue in this. Anyway, the next point is personal space, especially for empaths. And something I can hugely relate to is being able to rejuvenate your energy. It's essential for everyone to have their own space to rejuvenate their energy. If you are extroverted, you will find more, but it doesn't matter, you still need time on your own regardless if you're an introvert or an extrovert. And personal space is extra important for empaths because they're often very sensitive to external influence, other people, themselves, just everything. They're highly sensitive to energetically a lot of the time. Even if you're not, even if you're good at not absorbing other people's energy, which is a struggle that a lot of empaths have, having personal space to sort of, you know, unwind and, you know, unfold or whatever is really important for anyone, not just empaths. Acceptance of each other are definitely hugely important, and even looking at my point of view on past relationships I've had, I think it's just one of those things where I haven't even, like, I've surface level accepted them, but I haven't mentally accepted them. Like, I've kind of been nice to them, I've been tolerant to them to the extent that I can, and I've been sort of kind to them, but I haven't necessarily accepted them as a person, you know, to the point where I'm not fully accepting of them. I will reject like sides of them that obviously don't fit me, and I think that's a part of any relationship, actually. And sometimes when a relationship's coming to the end, you can kind of sense that, in that you're kind of somewhat rejecting each other, and kind of you know, you can kind of both feel it on both ends. Sometimes that can be a sign that it's coming to an end, especially in early relationships. I found that one specific one particularly, but acceptance of each other completely, and that having like aligning core ideas in terms of relationships. Like, if one person's a misogynist, for example, and another person is a feminist, you're not going to go far with that. Like, obviously misogyny is when they think men are better than women, and feminists are often about, you know, equal femininity, or sometimes there can be a level of toxic femininity that can run through some people. If you have those two polar opposites, there is no chance that it will work out unless you both have an amazing sense of humour. I don't know if any misogynist feminists know what's I don't know. And obviously some misogynists can still be respectful of their wives, and some feminists are kind of just want equal rights for women, so therefore it probably would work. But what I mean is, even things like having kids, you've got to have the same core boundaries about, do you both want kids, do you both want to get married, do you both want something short term, do you both want something long term, how do you feel about how the other one should be treated, what kind of lifestyle do you want to live, like is one person going to kind of want more from the other than the other. I definitely think in terms of extroversion and introversion, you don't have to be the same. Like, it's fine if one person's more extroverted and one person more introverted. I've heard that people that complement each other are actually good, that say if one person's extroverted, it forces the other one to be more introverted. And I've even had that in my past relationships, where if one person's more introverted, it causes the other one to be more introverted as well. And that can kind of bring a nice sort of balance to a relationship. But having core qualities and ideas about how you feel that someone else should be treated, because some people are very traditional in terms of culture. They might have a lot of preconceived ideas about how women should sort of sit back and have the kids, and the men need to go out and work and sort of have their tea ready for them when they get back. I don't swing that way. You know, everyone's got their own way of working it out, but the kind of person, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because, you know, I do want to have kids, I do want to make my tea for a family, but at the same time, I don't want that to be, this is my way and there's nothing else, that's all that's going to happen kind of mentality. Do you know what I mean? So I would see that maybe as a bit of a closed mindset, as opposed to a growth mindset that I would have. So that would be a mismatch of what I would want from a person, for example, and that would be a mix of core beliefs. Whereas, you know, some other woman that likes a simple man to be able to work out easily and sort of, you know, just know what the deal is, might enjoy it when a man is just like, you know, I'll come home for my tea and great, and she's sorted, she's got dinner ready, and that sort of tickety-boo for all of them, and that's great news. But I'm more pernickety than that, okay? So that's the difference between different people. It's none of them's right or wrong. So acceptance of a person, their bad sides, good sides, or perceived bad and good sides, because I think that everything makes us who we are. I seem to be more and more open with the way I kind of talk about different people, but closed to certain people that I don't care to focus my energy on. But yeah, just being being accepting of good and bad sides, and also loving them anyway. If you are planning to look for something long term in terms of like marriage, it says like in sickness and health, like well, not you're in sickness and health, but also like good and bad sides. Like I'm sure there's vows about like accepting all of each other, and you know, I definitely think like there's a human aspect of like if you disagree with someone, it's important to navigate disagreements, because apparently that's obviously going to be important because you're still different people. But having, as I said, I think I've exhausted this point so much, so I'm gonna let that go. Apparently romance is important. I've had this and that of romance in my relationships, whether that means to go on date nights or have sort of spa evenings or have baths together. I don't want to get too like graphic, or whether it means holding hands or watching films together or whatever. Romance can come in lots of different ways, even if it's just buying a bunch of flowers, you know, every now and again for a partner, or, you know, some people find it very romantic to, you know, all sort of things means something different to each person. You know, you might have something special that you only both kind of know about, that you both sort of do for each other, like something really specific that no one else can kind of, you know, it might be really specific to you. It might be some sort of inner joke that you, or whatever. Are jokes romantic? I don't know. But having a sense of romance is very important for anyone, especially empaths. I think I should stop saying that because I think we'll just get to the point where we're like, yeah, I get it. Autistic traits. Repeat. So strength is the next aspect. I didn't really watch the whole chapter on this. I think the strength, yeah, was just talking about equality of dominance and submissiveness, I think, generally. So yeah, just generally, if someone's trying to overpower you, not a good sign. If you're trying to overpower them, not a good sign. That's how people clash. If you both want to overpower each other, often not signs of a compatible interaction. And yeah, so there we go. Kindness is the next one, which, yeah, just being sort of able to be kind to another person and sort of be accommodating to their needs, to their, you know, making sure you kind of go out your way for the other person and that you're not going to hurt their feelings. And this is why I'm directing it specifically towards empaths in some ways, because anyone can be kind in different ways, but I mean, in terms of feelings, like, certain people find it quite difficult to be kind to other people because of their own issues, and it still goes for kindness. I think kindness is kind of the idea of not sort of hurting someone because they have their own shit going on, and kind of going out your way not to do that. So that's just kindness in a nutshell, isn't it, really? And doing stuff for people that doesn't merit a transactional reward in some way. Yeah, just equality in general in terms of treating each other as equal, again, back to the dominance thing. So I've literally, this has taken ages as a video. It's kind of flown by for me, but I felt like it was, it's actually quite a long video. So yeah, thanks for listening, and here's to manifesting people in the future when being single, for however long that takes, because to be honest with you, I'm not going to overshare because I'm starting to overshare. I'm happy being single. Don't think I need to find a long-term partner anytime in the near vicinity, but it's still nice to know these things, because it's nice as an empath to know that there are other empaths that aren't going to treat me badly and not understand my empathic ways and think I'm like a nutcase because I'm empathic and I'm sensitive, so they don't gaslight me for my ways. So that's always nice. But yeah, thanks for listening, bye.